जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna. So we have completed Adilila. We are beginning Madhyalila today. And last few shlokas of Adilila are very nice. I did not take them last time. I thought of starting our session with those particular shlokas. So basically these few shlokas are describing the sweetness of the Caitanya Leela as described by Kaviraj Goswami. And these few shlokas also give a very, very quick overview of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Whatever Adilila chapter 17 chapters that Kaviraj Goswami has written, Kaviraj Goswami himself gives an overview. He himself gives a pravaha in the last chapter. So that's the subject matter. So I will not be speaking the overview that he has given. You can go through that in the book. But I'll speak a few shlokas where Kaviraj Goswami describes the emotions of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, Yashoda Nandana Haila Sachira Nandan Chaturvidha Bhakta Bhava Kare Aswadan Swamadhurya Radha Prema Rasa Aswadite Radha Bhava Angikari Yache Bhalamati. Yashoda Nandana Haila Sachira Nandan. So Sachira Nandan, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, is Yashoda Nandan only. Means Krishna only appeared as Sachimata's son, as Lord Caitanya. Chaturvidha Bhakta Bhava Kare, tasting the mellows Bhakta Bhava and all kinds of devotion, and to understand the reservoir of pleasure in Krishna and Krishna himself. And as Lord Caitanya, he accepted the mode of Radharani. Swamadhurya Radha Prema Rasa Aswadite. Right? Swamadhurya means he is experiencing his own sweetness. Radha Prema Rasa Aswadite. He is also experiencing Radharani's love and Radha Bhava and her emotions. Angikari Yache Bhalamate. He is completely immersed in the emotions of Radharani. And further he says, Gopika Bhaverayi Sudrudha Nischay Vrajendra Nandana Vina Anyatra Nahai. Lord Chaitanya accepted the mode of gopis who accepted Krishna as their lover. And Vrajendra Nandana Vina Anyatra Nahai. All the gopis of Vrindavan, they don't accept anything or anyone other than Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu or other than Vrajendra Nandan, Lord Krishna. So here the description is that now once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, once the gopis of Vrindavan, they saw Vishnu, okay, four-handed Vishnu, and they felt that, oh, this is four-handed Vishnu, we want Krishna. Vishnu, did you see Krishna? They were asking Vishnu also. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is always in the mood of gopis of Vrindavan, and the gopis don't, they are not attracted to any other form apart from Krishna's form. Okay, and Mahaprabhu is now absorbed in that mood of gopis. Shyama Sundara Sikipincha Gunja Vibhushan Gopavesha Tribhangima Murali Vadan. Shyama Sundara, Krishna is having this beautiful bodily complexion, bluish. Sikipincha Gunja Vibhushan. He has this peacock feather, and Gunja Vibhushan. He has this ornament of Gunjamala. Gopavesha. He is in the form of cowhead boy. Tribhangima. He is curved at three places. Murali Vadan, he holds a flute to his mouth. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is absorbed in the remembrance of Krishna's original form as Shyam Sundar. Now, the influence of pure ecstasy of Radharani is described in Ujjvala Neelamani. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes that shloka here. Rasarambha vidhau niliya vasata kunje mrigakshi ganeer Drishtam gopayitum swamuddharadhiya ya sushtu sandarshita Radhayah pranayasya hanta mahima yasya shriya rakshitam sa shaktya prabhavishnu harina nasit chaturbahuta rasarambha vidho niliya vasata kunje mrigakshi gane. So prior to rasa dance, Krishna once just was hiding himself in a grove just to have fun with gopis, have some joke. Then Mrigakshi Ganair. Mrigakshi means those who have eyes like deer. The deer-eyed gopis came there. Drishtam gopayitum swamuddharadhiya yasushtu sandarshita. And these deer-eyed gopis came there and they saw Krishna. So he was hiding himself with his intelligence. He exhibited the form of Vishnu. He exhibited a beautiful four-handed form, right? And Radhayah pranayasya hanta mahima yasya shriya rakshitam. But when Radharani came in front of Krishna, Krishna could not retain that four-handed form. He has to immediately transform into normal two-handed Krishna form. So Krishna cannot even play games with Radharani. So one of my friends was describing on Krishna's pastime recently, how Krishna is completely a servant, subservient of Radharani's love. How he gives prominence to Srimati Radharani. How he allows himself to be dominated by Radharani, we can see in this pastime. Once Radharani and Krishna came in front of a tree in the spiritual world. Then Radharani requested the tree, please bow down, I want your fruits. Then Krishna, who was standing behind Radharani, he was saying, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't bow down. But the tree bowed down in front of Radharani to offer fruits. So the tree ignored Krishna's words and submitted to Srimati Radharani. And Krishna became happy with that. So Krishna is so happy that the tree was obedient to Radharani, and to serve Radharani, the tree even ignored Krishna also. So like that, Krishna loves Radharani so much, and Krishna allows himself to be dominated by Radharani also. So these are a few things that Krishna Kaviraj Goswami shares at the end of until Madhyalila. Then he also says that Achintya Adbhuta Krishna Chaitanya Vihar Chitra Bhava Chitra Guna Chitra Vyavahar. Achintya means Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are achintya, inconceivable. Adbhuta, wonderful. Krishna Chaitanya Vihar means all his pastimes. Chitra Bhava, Chitra Guna, Chitra Vyavahar. So he has very wonderful emotions, bhava, and he has wonderful qualities, guna. Chitra Vyavahar, his behavior is also very, very achintya, very divine. So with these few words, Kaviraj Goswami concludes the Adilila and he begins the Madhyalila. So something very interesting about Madhyalila. Now, Adilila ended with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's accepting sannyas. Madhyalila is supposed to begin with Mahaprabhu's activities after he accepted sannyas. But in the first two chapters of Madhyalila, Kaviraj Goswami summarizes entire Madhyalila and entire Antilila. Because Kaviraj Goswami began writing Caitanya-caritamrita at such an advanced age, he was not confident whether he will survive till the end of completing this book. So he thought that, okay, I completed Adilila, initial pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, gave a quick summary. So let me summarize all the Madhyalila pastimes and Antilila pastimes before I describe them elaborately. If I begin to describe them elaborately, and if I don't survive till I complete those pastimes, devotees may not get the complete information. So that's why our Kaviraj Goswami just summarizes all the pastimes of Lord Caitanya in Madhyalila first two chapters. So anyways, we are discussing an overview of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. I will spend less time on these first two chapters and I will begin third chapter today. I will summarize this summary of Madhya and Antilila. So the first shloka, Kaviraj Goswami says, Yasya prasada dagnopi sadyah sarvagnatam rajit Sri Caitanya Devo me Bhagavan samprasidatu. This is the beginning shloka of Madhyalila. He says, Yasya prasada agnopi. By the prasada, by the mercy of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, even an ignorant person also can acquire knowledge about himself. Sri Caitanya Devo me Bhagavan Samprasidatu. May that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu be completely satisfied with me. So then, Kaviraj Goswami offers obeisances to Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, and then Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev, Gopinath Ji, and Lord Caitanya. Jaya Jaya Gaurachandra, Jaya Kripa Sindhu, Jaya Jaya Sachi Sutta, Jaya Dina Bandhu. So in this way he glorifies the Lord. And again he glorifies Chaitanya Bhagavata, written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. He says, Chaitanya Leela Ravyasa Dasa Vrindavan, Tara Agnay Karom, Tara Uchishta Charvan. So Chaitanya Leela Vyasa Dasa Vrindavan. Vrindavan Das Thakur is the real, original Vyasadeva of Chaitanya Leela. So Vyasadeva has written Krishna Leela. Vrindavan Das Thakur has written Chaitanya Leela. Tara Ajnaya Karom, Tara Uchishta Charvan. By the Ajna, by the order of Vrindavan Das Thakur, I am just tasting the remnants of the food that he had left. So having said this, Kaviraj Goswami gives a summary of entire Madhyalila and also entire Antyalila. So he says, so Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are divided into two sections, Adilila and Seshalila. So Madhyalila constitutes the first 6 years of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and Antyalila constitutes the last 18 years. In these 18 years, first 6 years, he had spent a lot of time with his devotees, and he was chanting and dancing, participating in Rath Yatra. And in the last 12 years, he completely devoted his time in experiencing the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in Madhyalila, he was traveling to different places. So this is the subject matter of entire CC. So now, Kaviraj Goswami gives a quick preview of the preaching done by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees, the Goswamis, Nityananda Prabhu, and others. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu requests Nityananda Prabhu not to come to Jagannath Puri every year, because every year all the devotees of Bengal come from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to participate in the Rath Yatra, and they would spend their full time of monsoon with Mahaprabhu. They will participate in Gundicha Margin, then Rath Yatra, Dasara, and all the other festivals, Dola Yatra, Hera Panchami, all these festivals in Jagannath Puri. So, but Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu tells Nityananda Prabhu, please don't come here. Why are you coming here every year? Because my mother ordered me to stay in Jagannath Puri. I don't have the privilege to go to other places and preach. So you should preach in Bengal. Don't come here. But Nityananda Prabhu doesn't listen to Mahaprabhu's instruction out of love. So Lord Caitanya addresses Nityananda Prabhu as his elder brother. Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Balaram. So, and Nityananda Prabhu considers Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu as his master and then preaches devotional service unto Lord Caitanya. He says, Chaitanya Seva, Chaitanya Gavalava, Chaitanya Nam, Chaitanya Ye Bhakta Kare, See Mora Pran. Chaitanya Seva, oh devotees, please do service of Lord Caitanya. Chaitanya Gav, please glorify Lord Caitanya. Lao Chaitanya Nam, you also chant the holy names of Lord Caitanya. Chaitanya Ye Bhakta Kare, See Mora Pran. Whoever worships Lord Caitanya, whoever performs devotional service unto Lord Caitanya is my life and soul. This is the preaching of Nityananda Prabhu. And what are the achievements of our Goswamis of Vrindavan? They have done a lot of preaching. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami were preaching in Vrindavan. Just like Nityananda Prabhu was preaching in Bengal, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami were preaching in Vrindavan area. So they discovered so many lost places of pilgrimage. They began the services of scriptures to Vrindavan and they preached. And they also compiled several Brihad Bhagavatamrita, then also commentary on 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Then Rupa Goswami wrote even more books. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, Ujjala Nilamani, Danakeli Komudi, many other books, Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Then Jiva Goswami has written the 6 Sandarbhas, which are popularly called as Bhagavata Sandarbhas. And he also wrote Gopal Champu, and he wrote actually some 4 lakh original shlokas. So Mahaprabhu was absorbed in ecstasy of the gopis, and every year he would dance and sing. So devotees come from Jagannath Puri from Bengal to Jagannath Puri every year for Rath Yatra festival, and Mahaprabhu would dance with them. He would participate in Rath Yatra. Now, although Kaviraj Goswami was giving a quick summary of entire Madhyalila, he gets a little lost and he elaborates on one incident that happened between Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. So this is a story that he elaborates even more. He says that once Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has recited one shloka during Rath Yatra. So Mahaprabhu, while participating in Rath Yatra, he chants one shloka being absorbed in the mood of Srimati Radharani. The shloka is Yah kaumara harasya eva hivarasta eva chitrakshapas techonmilitamalati surabhayah praudhah kadambanilah sachivamsi tathapi tatra surata vyapara lila vidhau varodasi vedasi tarutale chetah samutkanthate yah kaumara harahasa eva hivaraha ta eva chaitrakshapaha. Means that very personality who stole my heart when I was very young, in my youth, he's again my master. And these are the same moonlit nights of Chaitra month. Techonmilitamalati surabhayah praudhah kadambanilah. And the same fragrance of Malati flowers, Malati surabhaya, means the fragrance of Malati flowers is being carried by sweet breezes in Vrindavan. And this is that same Kadamba forest. And Sachaivam Sitathapi Tatra Surata Vyaparalila Vidhau. Relationship, I am the same lover, still my mind is not happy here. I am very eager to go back to that Reva Rodasi Vetasi Tarutale Chetaha Samutkanthate. I am very eager to go back to that place where that is the place on bank of Reva river under the Vetasi tree. So now this shloka is quite transcendental. I spoke the meaning, but to understand the deep meaning of this shloka is very difficult for everybody there. If you don't understand the meaning of this shloka, although I spoke that shloka meaning according to what Kaviraj Goswami has given, that is because it's a very cryptic shloka. Nobody could understand it except some very intimate associates like Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami. Apart from these two intimate associates, Rupa Goswami also understood this shloka. And Rupa Goswami compiled another shloka to reveal the inner meaning and the mood of this current shloka spoken by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He was singing this shloka which no one could understand. Only he could understand, Jagannath could understand. But Rupa Goswami also understood that shloka and he composed his own shloka. Okay. And he wrote that shloka on a palm leaf and kept it in the thatched roof. I'll show the picture. And he kept it in the thatched roof of his hut, because at that time Rupa Goswami was staying in the hut of our Haridas Thakur. So you see this picture. So after putting that in the hut, our Rupa Goswami went to take bath. So Mahaprabhu came there. He picked up that leaf and he saw this new shloka. I got this shloka. Why he has this is actually expressing my inner mood, and definitely it must be written by Rupa Goswami. How could he understand my inner mood? So in this way, Mahaprabhu was very surprised. And when Rupa Goswami came back to Mahaprabhu, he fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. He offered obeisances. Then Mahaprabhu just picked him up, raised him, and then mildly slapped him. How did you understand my inner mood? And why are you writing this like this? So that's a very sweet exchange that happened between Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. And we will discuss more of this when we come to Madhyalila. Madhyalila initial chapters are Mahaprabhu's exchanges with Rupa Goswami. So that's about Antyalila. That's about Madhyalila, one small incident. So now let me show the rest of the chapter. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in Madhyalila, basically our Kaviraj Goswami summarizing Madhyalila. In the first, Mahaprabhu made his first attempt to go to Vrindavan after accepting sannyasa, but Nityananda Prabhu diverted him. And again he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but he could not go. So he went to South India Yatra. So when Mahaprabhu attempted to go to Vrindavan for the first time, Nityananda Prabhu diverted him to Shantipur, and at Shantipur, Sachi Mata decided that Mahaprabhu should stay in Jagannath Puri. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu traveled from Shantipur to Jagannath Puri. Okay. Then on the way, he went to this Kshirchor Gopinath temple, and he discussed Madhavendra Puri's pastime with other devotees who were accompanying him. Who were they? Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. And after that, Mahaprabhu came to Sakshi Gopal temple. At that temple, Nityananda Prabhu narrated the entire pastime of Sakshi Gopal. Okay. So after that, he came to Jagannath Puri, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya revived Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu when he fainted in front of Jagannath Puri temple, and deliverance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is spoken in 6th chapter. So Mahaprabhu's attempt to go to Vrindavan and diversion to Shantipur is 3rd chapter. Then 4th chapter is Madhavendra Puri episode. 5th chapter is Sakshi Gopal episode, and 6th chapter is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya episode. 7, 8, 9 are Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra, and 10th chapter Mahaprabhu comes back to our Jagannath Puri, and he meets several devotees, and all the devotee meeting and all that happens in 10th chapter. And in the 11th chapter, Jagannath Puri, Bengal devotees come to Jagannath Puri, and in the 12th chapter, Gundicha Marjan, 13th chapter, Rath Yatra, 14th chapter also is like extension of Rath Yatra, and 15th chapter, Mahaprabhu visits Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house for prasad. That's very sweet pastimes, and a Mogha episode happens there only. Then 16, 17, 18 are focused on Mahaprabhu's Vrindavan tour. The 19th chapter, Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami at Dashashwamedha Ghat. And 20th chapter to 24th chapter is Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatana Goswami at Varanasi. And 25th chapter is Mahaprabhu's transforming of Prakashananda Saraswati. This is quick overview of Madhyalila which Kaviraj Goswami gives. I didn't show any slide, so let me show also. So this is a quick overview of Madhyalila, and yeah, these are all various pastimes of Madhyalila. Anyways, we are going to discuss all that, so I didn't spend much time on it. Then 2nd chapter describes the Antyalila, the whole summary of Antyalila. So in Antyalila, we see predominantly Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation from Srimati Radharani, and how he manifests some bodily symptoms and all that. And also Kaviraj Goswami describes the glories of Caitanya-caritamrita here. So that's about 2nd chapter. Now let me enter the 3rd chapter of Madhyalila. So first 2 chapters I quickly summarized because they are presenting only a summary of Antyalila and Madhyalila. So I will begin the 3rd chapter. From 3rd chapter onwards, we will continue the storyline. So 3rd chapter begins with a very beautiful shloka, as usual. Nyasam vidhyayot pranayot gaurav vrindavanam gantu manabhramadhyah radhe brahman shantipurim avi ayitva lalasa bhaktir ihatam natosmi. Nyasam vidhayot pranayo atha gaurav. After accepting nyasa, means sannyasa, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed with intense love for Krishna. Vrindavanam gantu mana brahmadhyah, and he wanted to go to Vrindavan immediately. Then what happened at that time? by mistake, he went into Radhadesha. Radhadesha is that part of Bengal where Ganga doesn't flow. And later he arrived at Shantipur and he enjoyed himself with so many devotees of Shantipur. That's the subject matter of this beautiful chapter. So now let's get into the details. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas at the end of his 24th year in Magha Masa, Sukla Paksha. And out of intense love, Mahaprabhu immediately wanted to go to Radhadesha. And he was chanting this shloka of Avanti Brahmana from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, that is Uddhava Gita. So he's saying, Etam sa asthaya paratmanishtham adhyasatam purvatamair maharshibhi aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundang hrinisheva yaiva. Etam sa asthaya paratmanishtha. What is the purpose of accepting sannyas? That is paratmanishtha. Paratmanishtha means being completely fixed up in the mood of being a servant of Krishna. Adhyasitam purvatamair mahadbhi means great souls have exemplified the path of devotional service. They showed us how to perform bhakti. By following in the footsteps of these great souls, we have to worship Krishna. And by doing so, what happens? Aham tarishyami durantaparam. We can easily cross over the ocean of material existence, which is otherwise very difficult to cross over. Tamo mukundang hrinisheva yaiva. And we can, how can we cross over the material existence? By mukunda angri nisheva, by serving the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda, right? So this is the nice shloka that Mahaprabhu sings while traveling to Jagannath Puri, traveling to Vrindavan. So this is the spirit of accepting sannyas. The main business of a sannyasi is paratmanishtha, having that mood of dedicating one's body, mind and life completely to the service of Lord Mukunda. And that's the real purpose of sannyasa. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, while chanting this shloka, he was totally absorbed in ecstasy. He was not understanding whether it is day or night or east or west or left or right. He was just traveling to Vrindavan, and he somehow came into Radhadesh. He was saying, Hari, 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 Hari. So all the ecstatic symptoms manifested in his mind. And when Mahaprabhu was walking like that, he saw some cowhead boys. Okay, they were herding some cows. So seeing them, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was impressed because they were also chanting the holy names of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu felt successful. When we chant the holy names of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna becomes successful. He feels successful. Because the material world is filled with people who are averse to a sense of subordination to Krishna. So even Maitreya Muni also says, Vidura says, Sukhaya karmani karoti loko nataihi sukham vanyaduparamamba vindeta bhuyastata eva dukkham yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadena. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko. People perform so many activities for sukha, for happiness. But they don't get happiness. They get only distress. Okay. But they don't stop their endeavors for happiness. Although they are getting distressed. How to stop this? So people are averse to a sense of subordination to Krishna. And Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya Devat Adharmashilasya Sudukhitasya. So Vidura continues to say that people are Adharmashila. They're completely irreligious in their mind. And Sudukhitasya. They are immersed in ocean of distress because of Krishnasya Vimukhat. They have turned their faces away from Krishna. Now, by the influence of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, if some of those souls are taking up the process of chanting the holy names of Krishna, Krishna definitely feels happy. Means Mahaprabhu definitely feels happy. So seeing this cowhead boys chanting Hari, Hari, Krishna, Krishna, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu felt successful. Wow, this is the success of my incarnation. I am inducing these cowhead boys to chant Hari, Hari. So Mahaprabhu felt so happy, and Nityananda Prabhu was tricking Mahaprabhu now. So he called some of the cowhead boys and said, Vrindavana Patha Prabhu Puche na tomare Gangatira pathatabe dikhai batare. When Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu asks you the way to Vrindavan, you should show him the way by the Ganges river. Okay, so this is how you need to divert Mahaprabhu. Then all these innocent cowherd boys, they said, okay, fine, no problem, we will do like that. And Mahaprabhu asked these cowherd boys, so where is the way to Vrindavan? And they showed Ganga. See, go by this way, you will reach Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu was going like that. So then Nityananda Prabhu was following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu was also accompanied by Chandrasekhar. So he called Chandrasekhar and said, Chandrasekhar, immediately go to Advaitacharya's house. And I will bring Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Advaitacharya's house at Shantipur. And Advaitacharya should come to this bank of Ganges in a boat, right? And meanwhile, you should go to Navadvip and get all the devotees of Navadvip, including Sachimata. So Nityananda Prabhu was quite confident to misdirect Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's way. So that's the intimacy between Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya becomes a puppet in the hands of Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu, after sending Chandrasekhara like this, he came in front of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was surprised. Nityananda Prabhu, what are you doing here? I am going to Vrindavan. What are you doing here? And Nityananda Prabhu said, I am also coming to Vrindavan along with you. And Nityananda Prabhu, when he said like this, Lord Chaitanya asked, oh, you are also coming? Very good. How far is Vrindavan? Then Nityananda Prabhu said, we have almost reached. We are almost in Vrindavan. See, this is Yamuna. Then, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so happy. Oh, I have come to Yamuna. So he immediately jumped into Yamuna river. And actually he jumped into Ganges river, thinking that it is Yamuna. And he also offered prayers to Yamuna river. Chidananda bhano sadananda suno paraprema patri drava brahma gatri aghanam lavitri jagat kshema dhatri pavitri kriyano vapur mitra putri. Chidananda bhano sada nanda suno. Chidananda bhano means Yamuna river has all the spiritual waters. Sada Nanda Suno Paraprema Patri. These spiritual waters of Yamuna river constantly give love to Krishna. Right? They are the source of, they give love to the son of Nanda Maharaj. Sadananda Suno Paraprema Patri. Drava Brahmagatri. They are waters of the spiritual world. Aghanam Lavitri Jagat Kshema Dhatri. And this Yamuna waters are also known to destroy all the sins and offenses of people. Aghanam lavitri, jagat kshema dhatri. And the waters of Yamuna create auspiciousness to the entire world. Pavitri kriyano vapur mitra putri. O mitra putri, O daughter of sun god, please purify us. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered prayers to Ganges, thinking that the Ganges river is Yamuna river. We offer this prayer every day to our Yamuna in Govardhanika village. So as Mahaprabhu was absorbed in this ecstasy, he bathed and his body became wet, his clothes became wet. And he suddenly saw our Advaitacharya coming on a boat. Then he very innocently asked, Advaitacharya, what are you doing in Vrindavan? What are you doing in Yamuna? How did you come to Vrindavan? How do you know that I am here? Then Advaitacharya said, my dear Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Tumi yahan say Vrindavan. Okay. And it's my great fortune that you have come on the banks of Ganges. Then Mahaprabhu understood. Oh, Nityananda Prabhu has cheated me royally. There are very nice shlokas. Now, Chidananda Bhanu we have already seen. So, okay, I didn't have these shlokas with me now in the PowerPoint. Anyways, so Nityananda Prabhu cheated our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu realized that Nityananda Prabhu has cheated him. So Mahaprabhu says that Nityananda Prabhu told me that it is Yamuna, all that is Ganges. Then Advaitacharya gave a logic. My dear Mahaprabhu, what Nityananda told was not false. You just bathe in Yamuna only. Here, the Ganges river and Yamuna river flow together. Ganges is on the eastern side and Yamuna is on the western side. So, So you bathe in Yamuna only. Nityananda Prabhu is not wrong. And please change your wet clothes and take these dry garments. And at my home, I have just cooked one morsel of food. Because you are a sannyasi and I'm a grahastha and I'm supposed to feed sannyasis, please come to my house and accept alms. I have cooked only one morsel of food, only just enough for you. Please take it, okay? And also palm full of rice and some simple vegetables, nothing luxurious. I'm not going to offer any feast to you. Please accept this. Then Advaita Acharya brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu on the boat. Now, three Prabhus, Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Mahaprabhu, they traveled in the boat and came to Shantipur, to Advaita Acharya's house. And Advaita Acharya became so happy. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas and he's visiting the first house. That is my house. Okay, he felt so happy. And Advaita Acharya's wife cooked all kinds of eatables. And Advaita Acharya personally offered them to Lord Vishnu. And the prepared food was divided into three parts, right? So one was arranged on a metal plate for offering to Krishna, and other two parts were actually meant for Nityananda and Chaitanya. And on a metal plate, this offering is given to Krishna, which is some reasonable quantity. But very big, huge banana leaves were spread, and that they are filled with huge quantities of rice and other hundreds of preparations. So there are 32 bunches of bananas. Okay, so and these leaves were containing several food items. So Advaita Acharya's wife cooked all these items, and Prabhupada gives a very interesting insight here. In ideal Grahastha ashram, Grahastha life, a wife cooks food for the Lord, and the husband offers that food to the deities. And Aarti is performed and prasad is distributed. And that prasad is also given to guests. When guests are not there, the householder can accept lunch. Means when there are no other guests, then only he can accept lunch. Okay. So, but otherwise he should first feed the guests. So now Kaviraj Goswami gives a very, very elaborate description of the food items. Okay. So I will not be elaborating on all the food items that they have prepared. So, but anyways, so after Bhoga is offered, Bhoga Aarti was performed. Advaita Acharya asked Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya to come and see Bhoga Aarti and take darshan of the deities. And after that, after Bhoga Aarti is over, Krishna's deity was kept for resting seva. Then Advaita Acharya came out of the deity room and invited Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to sit and accept food. Then Mukunda and Haridas, both of them were also there. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu called, Mukunda, please come in. Haridas Thakur, you also please come in, accept prasadam with us. Right? All of us will eat together. Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, then Mukunda. Of course, Advaita Acharya. He's acting like a host. So all of them can eat together. But Mukunda, out of his deep humility, he said that, Mahaprabhu, I have some important work. I have something to do now. I will not accept prasadam with you now. I have some important work. I will take prasadam later. So you please enter the room. You have prasadam. Why did Mukunda say like this? He avoided the opportunity to dine with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, not out of arrogance, but out of deep humility. He felt himself so unqualified to sit along with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and accept prasad. And what about Haridas? Haridas said, Oh Mahaprabhu, I am most sinful and the lowest among men. I am papishta, means sinful person. Adhama, I am very lowest. I will eat some prasadam outside. I will eat one palmful of prasadam outside. So please don't push me. So Haridas Thakur was so spiritually advanced. He is Namacharya. But still, as an exalted Vaishnava, he does not want to disturb the social customs there. Because he was born as a Yavana. So he felt that I should not come inside a Vaishnava's house and contaminate their house. So he considered himself Loban, and such Loban people are generally fed outside the house, not inside the house. he respected the social customs, right? Definitely he was not on a bodily plane, but devotees even consider some external or physical or bodily reasons also to be humble, right? I am low born. This soul doesn't have birth. Why Haridas Thakur says I am low born? That is his humility, right? So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respected the emotions of Mukunda and Haridas Thakur, and he did not force them to come and eat prasadam with Nityananda and Chaitanya. So then Mahaprabhu came inside and he saw such huge quantities of prasad and said, Aiche Anna ye Krishna ke karaya bhojan janme janme shirodharon tahara charan. So Aiche Anna ye Krishna ke karaya bhojan. This much quantity of food, whoever is offering to Krishna, is very dear to my heart. Janma janma shirodharun tahara charan. I will keep the lotus feet of such a great devotee on my head, life after life. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels extremely happy and ecstatic to see Krishna being worshipped so much, because he is absorbed in the mode of a devotee of the Lord. A devotee naturally feels happy to see Krishna being served so nicely. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says something similar when he goes to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house in Jagannath Puri also, right? So devotees can cook food lavishly and feed Krishna, especially on Govardhan Puja Day, Janmashtami Day, Radhashtami Day. We offer so much of prasadam to Krishna, so much bhoga to Krishna, and that makes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also happy. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that, oh, this so much food is there, many devotees must be eating prasadam. Okay, so not knowing the intentions of Advaitacharya, Mahaprabhu asked very innocently, can you get some banana leaves so that we can sit in one corner and then take some little bit of prasad and some vegetables? Then Advaitacharya said, no, this huge quantity is for you only. So there are two big leaves. Nityananda Prabhu, you sit here. Mahaprabhu, you sit here. You take prasad. Okay. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it is not proper for a sannyasi to eat such variety of foods. If he does, how can he control senses? Prabhu kahe sannyasira bhakshana hai upakaran. Iha khai le kaichya haya indriya varan. If a sannyasi eats so much of food, how can he control his senses? It is not the duty of a sannyasi to eat so much of food. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not encourage sannyasis to eat very palatable dishes because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Vairagya Vidya. So he is exemplary in his renunciation, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are also exemplary in their renunciation. Okay. Now you see, this shloka comes. Vairagya is the bhushana, is the ornament of all Lord Chaitanya's devotees, right? I'm not remembering the Bengali here. Anyways, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exemplifying renounced order, so he does not want to eat such palatable food. So Advaitacharya said, Lord, please give up your concealment. I know the confidential meaning of your sannyas. Give up word jugglery and just sit here and eat. So Mahaprabhu again says, I cannot eat so much food. And Advaitacharya again pushes him, forces him, that you, if you can't eat, eat whatever you can eat and leave the rest on the plate only. Then Lord Chaitanya says, no, sannyasira dharmana hai uchishta rakhite. The sannyasi is not supposed to leave remnants, right? So I will eat as much as I can eat only. Just separately give me some plate. Then Advaitacharya says, at Puri, you eat 54 times in a day. And each time you eat 100 pots of rice. The food that can feed 3 people is like one morsel for you. So all these items that I have made, they are not even equal to 5 morsels for you. Just eat. Okay, stop talking and then eat. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt very much pressurized, but it's a loving push. He just accepted. So how much? And Advaitacharya said this much only. If you go to the 15th chapter of Madhyalila, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says that Krishna eats so much of butter in Mother Yashoda's house, and then Krishna steals butter from all the gopis' houses in Vrindavan. And Krishna not only eats in Nanda Maharaj's house, there is Upananda and many other brothers of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna goes to his uncle's houses and then he eats there also as a small child. Okay. So as a small child, Krishna has so much of eating capacity. His belly is always full in Vrindavan, but he keeps on stealing and eating. And when he comes to Mathura or Dwaraka, Vasudeva had 18 wives. Devaki is mother of Krishna. Krishna eats in her house. And he also eats in the houses of the 17 stepmothers. And Krishna had 16,108 queens. And all of them are feeding feast every day to Krishna. And Krishna eats all that feast. How much Krishna has capacity to eat? And Krishna is not so fat like this. Krishna is all his bodily limbs are very proportionate and he looks very slim and nice. Okay. So that is the capacity of Krishna to eat. In Jagannath Puri, he is eating 54 times every day, each time hundreds of items. So Advaita Acharya says, I know your capacity, just eat. And as Govardhan, how much he ate? He drank kunds of dal. He ate mountains of rice. And after eating everything that came from hundreds and thousands of families in Vrindavan, Krishna asked, Aniyur, I want more, in the form of Govardhan. Okay. So that's the capacity of Krishna to eat. So devotees can feed Krishna on all festivals to their heart's content. Okay. Whether they can eat the Mahaprasadam or not, that they have to decide. But feeding Krishna, there are no restrictions. They can feed. So now, as Advaita Acharya is lovingly pushing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to eat like this, Nityananda Prabhu started speaking. I am fasting since 3 days. And I was hoping to break my fast today. Looks like today also I have to fast. So much of, I expected a lot of quantity of food here. This food cannot even fill half my belly. Advaita Acharya, what kind of host you are? And Advaita Acharya said, you are a traveling mendicant. Tairthika sannyasi. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots and sometimes you simply fast. And you have come to my house and I am giving you elaborate feast. And you are complaining still. And again he says, I am just a poor Brahmana. Please be satisfied. Give up greedy mentality and then sit and then eat. Then Nityananda Prabhu said, whatever it may be. I may be Tairthika sannyasi. I may be traveling mendicant. I may be eating fruits and roots or sometimes I'm fasting. But you have invited me for prasad to your house. You should feed me whatever I can eat. Right? You cannot say you are a poor Brahmana. All these kinds of reasons you cannot give me. Then Advaita Acharya said, you are a reject Paramahamsa. You are a Bharashta Avadhuta. And you have accepted sannyas just to fill your belly. Right? And your business is to trouble Brahmana hosts like me. You can eat 10-20 manas of rice. 1 mana means 4 kilos. 10 manas means 40 kilos. 10-20 manas means 40 to 80 kilos. Oh, Nityananda Prabhu, you can eat 40 to 80 kilos of rice alone. How can I get so much rice? I am a poor Brahmana. So, whatever it may be, although you think that I am offering you only a palm full of rice, just eat silently and get up. Don't show madness. And don't throw remnants here and there. That idea was not there in Nityananda Prabhu's head. Advaita Acharya only gave that idea to Nityananda Prabhu. He said, don't throw remnants here and there. Okay. So, under the pretense of condemning Advaita Acharya, actually Nityananda Prabhu is praising Advaita Acharya as a Paramahamsa. Okay. So then Nityananda Prabhu started eating somehow and Mahaprabhu also started eating. So as soon as Mahaprabhu completes at least half of the preparation, Advaita Acharya comes and refills that preparation. So like that, he is just feeding and Mahaprabhu says, I cannot eat so much. How much I can eat? Right? Is there an end to this feast or you will just continuously feed till evening? Then Advaita Acharya said, that please don't give up what I have already given. Now whatever I am giving, you just eat half and leave the half. Leave the remaining. Okay. In this way, by various requests and pressure and this and that, Advaita Acharya made Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu eat so much. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also can be very naughty as a Nimai. But now that he has accepted sannyas, Mahaprabhu is feeling very sober and grave and formal. But Nityananda Prabhu, no formalities. He's Avadhut. He can be naughty. So again, Nityananda Prabhu said, my belly is not filled at all. Please take away your food. I have no hopes that it will fill my belly. I have not eaten anything. So Nityananda Prabhu picked up some rice, handful of rice, and then threw on the floor as if he was angry. And those remnants touched the body of Advaitacharya. As soon as the remnants of Nityananda Prabhu touched the body of Advaitacharya, Advaitacharya thought himself so purified and he started dancing up and down. Why he has to be purified? What is the contamination that Advaitacharya had? Advaitacharya somehow, out of his humility, he was thinking that I am a smarta brahmana attached to all external rules and regulations. Okay? And Nityananda Prabhu's divine remnants purified me of this smarta contamination. Okay? So he is a Paramahamsa and I am a smarta brahman. So both are incarnations of the Lord, but out of their humility, they are exchanging this kind of love between each other. So we cannot imitate it. Yeah, we can have some intimate dealings with other devotees. We may joke with other devotees, but we cannot throw Mahaprasad on each other. Okay, that is not allowed. Okay, we can have some jovial dealings. That's not a problem in intimate circles, but intimacy should not lead to disrespect. Okay, so we may be intimate with other devotees, but at heart we should not have any disrespect. And even in our behavior also, we should not be disrespectful. In close circles, there may be some jokes and this and that, but one should always be respectful to other Vaishnavas. Then Advaitacharya said, indeed, I received the results of inviting you. You have no fixed caste. You have no fixed dynasty. By nature, you are a madman. Sahaje pagal. Right? You are a madman. So to make me also a madman like yourself, you were throwing remnants on me. So Nityananda Prabhu is mad with Krishna's love. And Advaitacharya is feeling that by touching the remnants of Nityananda Prabhu, I am also becoming mad with love for Krishna. So this is Krishna Prasad. So Prasadam is transcendental. One who considers Mahaprasad to be ordinary commits a great offense. So there are many other insights given by Prabhupada also. But anyways, after such a jovial discussion, Advaitacharya made Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu wash their hands and mouth, and they lie down to take rest. Then Advaitacharya gave them some sandalwood pulp and flower garlands, and he waited there to massage the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, enough. You have sufficiently made me dance according to your will. Please stop this anymore. I cannot take this anymore. Please stop this. Bahuta nachaile tumi chhada nachen means you will press my feet also or what? Mahaprabhu was a 24-year-old sannyasi, young boy in one sense. And Advaitacharya is a very grand old man. Okay. Before even Mahaprabhu's birth only, Advaitacharya is seen as a very old man. So Mahaprabhu is feeling so embarrassed. So then and also Mahaprabhu always considers Advaitacharya on the level of his guru. He is the god brother of Ishwarapuri. He was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So then Mahaprabhu said, please don't press my feet. Please go. And you take prasad. And you also feed Haridas Thakur and Mukunda. So they did not take prasad. So you go and feed them. So then Mahaprabhu rested. And all the devotees of Shantipur came there. And they saw Mahaprabhu and they were struck with wonder. So Mahaprabhu was so beautiful as a sannyasi. First time they were seeing Mahaprabhu's darshan without any hairs. No hairs. Okay. Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi. He was wearing saffron cloth and there were no ornaments. There were no curly locks of hair. Krishna is so beautiful. Barha pidam natavaravapuh karnayor karnikaram. Bibharadvasah kanaka kapisham vaijayantim chabalam Randharan venoradhara sudhaya purayan gopa vrindair Vrindaranyam swapada ravanam pravishad gita kirti. So Krishna wears yellow dhoti and red waistcloth, and he has beautiful bluish bodily complexion. And he wears a Vaijayanti mala, which is made of 5 or 8 colors of forest flowers. And he has curly locks of hair surrounding his face, and he has a beautiful peacock feather resplendent on his head, and he's playing flute. So that is the beauty of Krishna in Vrindavan. And when the same Krishna in Vrindavan comes as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, what are his ornaments? His ornaments are his ecstasies, trembling, perspiration, and his mood and his own personal physical beauty. The body itself is so beautiful, right? So these are the real ornaments. His ecstasy is the ornament. His tears are the ornaments, right? So now, Gaura Deha Kanti Surya Janiya Ujjvala Aruna Vastra Kanti Tahe Kare Jhalamala. So all the devotees have seen the bright luster of his fair complexion body, not dark complexion, fair complexion body, okay, in glittering saffron garments, and this beautiful bodily effulgence of Lord Chaitanya dressed in saffron garments is conquering the effulgence of sun also. Aruna Vastra Kantita He Kare Jhalamala. Innumerable people who assembled there, they were completely mesmerized to see the beauty of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the evening, Advaitacharya began Sankirtan. So all of them danced. Mahaprabhu danced, Nityananda Prabhu danced, and Haridas Thakur danced. And Advaitacharya also sang. And he said that today is the greatest cause of pleasure. So after many, many days, Krishna is personally there in my house. And Mahaprabhu, while chanting, he exhibited perspiration, shivering, bodily hairs were rising, and he had tears, and sometimes he's thundering. So like that, he was dancing, and Advaitacharya was also dancing. So seeing Advaita's dance, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also became ecstatic. So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifested ecstatic symptoms. Nirveda, Vishada, Harsha, Chapalya Garvadainya, Prabhura Sahita Yuddha Kare Bhava Sainya. Nirveda means disappointment. Vishada is sadness, moroseness. Harsha, great pleasure, happiness. Chapalya means restlessness, chinchal. Garva means pride, dainya, humility. Prabhura Sahita Yuddha Kare Bhava Sainya. All these bhavas are manifesting in Mahaprabhu's body, and this bhava sainya, like soldiers, they were doing yuddha, right? So Mahaprabhu is just like he's changing gears, right? He is sometimes very happy, sometimes very morose, and he is restless, he is proud, he is humble. All these are emotions of Srimati Radharani. So he was manifesting. He immediately fell to the ground while dancing, and his breathing almost stopped. Seeing his condition, all the devotees became very anxious. And then suddenly he got up and sprang into the air, started dancing. And then he requested the devotees to chant, chant, chant. And Mahaprabhu danced ecstatically for 3 hours. And seeing that the Lord was fatigued, Nityananda Prabhu stopped dancing. And Mahaprabhu also stopped Sankirtan, and everybody rested there. And in this way, 10 days, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Advaitacharya's house. And every evening there was chanting and dancing. Okay. And there was also some discussion of Krishna Katha. So in the morning, Chandrasekhar brought Shanti, brought Sachimata to Shantipur on a palanquin with many other devotees. So all the devotees of Nadia have come there, and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu fell flat at Sachimata's lotus feet like a stick. So a sannyasi need not offer obeisances to anyone. Everybody offers obeisance to sannyasi, but in front of a mother, a sannyasi has to bow down, right? So sannyasis, brahmacharis, although they wear saffron, they have to offer obeisances to their mothers. So Sachimata began to cry, seeing Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was 24 years old, and Sachimata was about 68 years old. I'm not sure, but I have heard like that. So she was very old, and she took Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu on her lap, and she saw Mahaprabhu's body very observantly, and she began to caress his body and started kissing his face and observed him very carefully. And she could not see Mahaprabhu properly because her eyes were filled with tears, and she has to wipe, and more tears were coming. She could not even take darshan of Mahaprabhu properly. And she was crying and said, "My dear darling Nimai, don't be cruel like Vishwarupa. After accepting sannyas, Vishwarupa never give me audience again. If you also do like that, that will be my death. Right? Please don't, be cruel like him." Basically, she's saying that I want to see you. I want to hear about you. I want to know your whereabouts, although you have accepted sannyas. Okay. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear mother, this body belongs to you, raised by you, caressed by you. It came from you. I cannot repay my debt even in millions of births. Knowingly or unknowingly, I have accepted sannyas. Still, I will not neglect you. I will not be indifferent towards you. So whatever you tell me, I will execute. Out of my madness, I have accepted sannyas, but you just order me. Whatever may be your order, I will just follow your order." Actually, the slokas here are very heart-touching. So we may not be going into details, but just this one chapter itself can be discussed for more than 3 hours. So the shlokas are also very heart-touching, very emotional expressions. Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a wonderful feast for devotees, Vaishnavas, that it is filled with deep philosophy and deep emotions and great lessons on Vaishnava character and behavior. So one scripture cannot be so rich in its contents. So Kaviraj Goswami packed Chaitanya Charitamrita with such deep philosophical discussions. First 7 chapters of Madhyalila are so thick in philosophy, and Mahaprabhu's teachings to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Mahaprabhu's discussions with Prakashananda Saraswati and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they contain very deep philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, and teachings, bhakti teachings, and also very elaborate descriptions of rasa, Radha Krishna Leela, Radha Krishna Tattva with Ramanandra, and such emotional exchanges between devotees, loving emotions. So Bhagavatam is definitely great scripture. It has a lot for us to learn, but it all presents the stories of Rajarshis. So Bhagavatam is filled with descriptions of Ambarish Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Prutha Maharaj, Prahalad Maharaj, Yayati, Pururaval. They are all great celebrities, great kings. Narada Muni, Brahma, Swayambhu Manu. So they are all Vaishnavas of a different era and different breed. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is much, much, much closer to all of us. Mahaprabhu appeared just 500 years back, very recent incarnation. And all the loving exchanges and dealings between Mahaprabhu and his devotees they resemble our dealings with other devotees. Right? They resemble means like we can take a lot of lessons and practical insights from Mahaprabhu's dealings with other devotees and implement in our own life. They are more implementable. There is a more application possibility from Mahaprabhu's things. How Swayambhu Manu ruled, we may not be able to imitate it exactly now. Who is a ruler here? Okay, but how Mahaprabhu dealt with Rupa Goswami, what are his eating habits, what are his speaking habits, how is he spending time with other devotees. So all these are very close to our regular day-to-day activities. So now you see emotions. So here, 3rd chapter is very emotional chapter where you find deep emotions between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sachi Mata, and many other devotees of Shantipur and Navadvip. And whenever these devotees come to Jagannath Puri, and when they meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu sees them off after monsoon, again such deep intentional emotional exchanges are mentioned. And Vaishnava etiquette, how Vaishnavas are supposed to deal with each other. All these are also described in the Madhyalila especially. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are filled with rich content. In Kaviraj Goswami's descriptions are also very attractive to the heart. So then the Lord met all the devotees here, and everyone was looking at his beautiful face, and Advaita Acharya made all arrangements for all the devotees who came from different villages. from Navadvipa area. So he provided them food and accommodation. So just like Shivananda Sen was providing food, accommodation and travel arrangements for all the devotees who are traveling from Navadvip area to Jagannath Puri, Advaita Acharya made all kinds of arrangement of prasadam and accommodation for all the hundreds of devotees who came to his house. Acharya Gosaira Bhandara Akshaya Avyaya Yatadravya Vyaya Kare Tatadravya Haya. So Acharya Gosaira Bhandara, Acharya means Advaita Acharya's Bhandara means treasure house, is Akshaya, is inexhaustible, Avyaya, indestructible. Right? Yatadravya Vyaya Kare Tatadravya Haya. The more he is spending all his money, the more he is getting. Okay. So many hundreds of people are sitting there for several days and eating. So where is he getting money? Is he going for his job and earning money? No, it's avyaya. It's inexhaustible. Okay. So now Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental symptoms in front of Sachimata. From the day Sachimata arrived there, she took charge of cooking. A mother's deep ecstasy is in lovingly cooking for her child and feeding. And Sachimata interestingly addresses Lord Chaitanya as Nimai only. So although devotees are initiated, their mothers call the devotees with their childhood names only, the name that they personally have given. So that's their deep sentiment. So Sachimata calls Lord Chaitanya Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu as Nimai, darling Nimai. Okay. So she took charge of cooking, and during the day, people saw Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate, loving exchanges with Advaita Acharya, and at the night they saw Kirtan. Okay, so Kirtana Karite Prabhura Sarva Bhavodai Stambha Kampa Pulaka Shrugadgada Pralay. So during Kirtan, Mahaprabhu manifested all kinds of transcendental symptoms. Stambha, he's stunned. Kampa, he's trembling. Pulaka Shru. Pulaka means his body is trembling, and Ashru means there were tears in his eyes. Gadgada, voice is just faltering. Pralaya. So he's like as if he's devastated. He collapses sometimes. He faints. Right. So Sachimata sees Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu jumping up and down, and then he was falling on the ground. Then she offered a prayer to Lord Vishnu. She says, "My dear Lord, kindly bestow this benediction as a result of whatever service I have done to you since my childhood. I just want this one benediction. Whenever Nimai falls to the surface of the earth, ground, during this kirtan, let his body not feel any pain." Right? Balyakala haite toma ye kailon sevan tara ye phala more deha narayan. Balyakala haite tomara ye kailu sevan tara ye phala more deha narayan. She is willing to exchange all the spiritual credits that she has acquired since her childhood days till then for one small benediction. What is that? Mahaprabhu's body should not be pained when he falls to the ground. That's the only benediction that she wanted. You see, the gopis of Vrindavan are willing to perpetually suffer in hell for the rest of eternity to relieve Krishna's headache even for 1 second. To that degree, devotees offer themselves to the service of Krishna. It's unparalleled. No one can compare the love that the Vrajavasis have for Krishna. And Mother Yashoda manifested as she took the form of Sachimata. She similar affection for Nimai. Okay, so Sachimata appealed to all the devotees. So she told Srivas Thakur and many other devotees, Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. What is the opportunity for me to go and meet Mahaprabhu often? So as long as Nimai is there in Advaita Acharya's house, I will personally cook and feed him. And seeing this request of Sachimata, all the devotees unanimously agreed. Actually, Srivas Thakur and many other devotees in Navadvip area, they also desired to cook personally for Lord Chaitanya and feed him, all the mothers there. but Sachimata should be given more priority. So all of them unanimously agreed, Sachimata, you should cook. We will assist you. So you should supply food. So Sachimata cooked for the devotees. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the mother's eagerness, Sachimata's eagerness. He became quite overwhelmed, agitated, and informed all the devotees. He said, my dear devotees, I tried to go to Vrindavan. I took sannyas suddenly. I don't know what happened to me. I have given you up and my mother, and I took sannyas, but I shall never give you up anymore. I will not give up my mother. So it is not the duty, but point is, I have accepted sannyas. It is not the duty of a sannyasi to live at home and stay at birthplace only, encircled by devotees and relatives. So I don't want to give you up, but I cannot stay home because people will criticize me, people will blame me. So what happens? So sannyasi ra dharmana hai sannyasa karina nija janma sthane rahe kutumbalaya. So it is not the dharma of a sannyasi to stay at home. Then all the devotees spoke about Mahaprabhu's concern to Sachimata. And Sachimata said that, yes, if Nimai stays at home, that will be the cause of great happiness to me. But if people criticize Nimai, that will be the cause of great unhappiness to me. So people should not criticize Lord Chaitanya, criticize Nimai. So I have one plan. Let Lord Chaitanya stay in Jagannath Puri. Jagannath Puri and Bengal. They're like two rooms in the same house. So people who are staying in Jagannath Puri come to Bengal to take bath in Ganga. And people who are staying in this Bengal area, they go to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So there's people from both places visit the other place. So we keep hearing about the news of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We will understand his activities and whereabouts and his welfare and all. So let him stay in Jagannath Puri. So Sachimata made a decision. And Mahaprabhu has promised that I will stay where whatever you tell me, I will follow that. So he agreed. So Sachimata said, Appanara dukha sukha taha nahi gani, taha ye sukha taha nija sukha mani. I will not consider what is happiness and what is distress for me. Whatever keeps Nimai happy, I consider that as my happiness. This is the mood of a ideal devotee and ideal mother also. If a real mother wants her son to progress spiritually, so she better allow the son to search for Krishna, to serve Krishna. So by allowing her son to go as a sannyasi, Sachimata instructs all mothers and indicates that all sons should become real devotees of Krishna, not necessarily as a sannyasi, but as devotees of Krishna, right? So definitely, Mother Sachi would love to have Nimai as stay at her home under her loving affection, but because Nimai requested Sachimata, Nimai wanted to serve Krishna, then Sachimata allowed him. So then, Ghareyaha Karasad. Now Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all the devotees and then spoke. Ghareyaha Raha Sada Krishna Sankirtan, Krishna Nama Krishna Katha, Krishna Aradhan. So, Ghare Yara Sada Krishna Sankirtan. So you all should stay at Jagannath Puri. Sorry, you may stay at your houses, but you should also do Krishna Sankirtan, right? So 1 minute, I will share the screen. One devotee requested. So now. So Sachimata desired that the Lord should stay at Jagannath Puri. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed and said that I will stay at Jagannath Puri, and he instructed all the devotees. So I am going to Jagannath Puri now. Okay, you are all my intimate friends. I am begging one favor from you. So please go back home and Ghare Yaha Kara Sada Krishna Sankirtan. Krishna Nama Krishna Katha, Krishna Aradhan. You chant Krishna's names. You do Krishna Katha and you do Krishna Aradhana. You serve, you worship Krishna, right? So at this stage, our Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu met Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur said that, my dear Lord, you will go to Jagannath Puri and I am a Yavana. I cannot come to Jagannath Puri. What will happen to me? How will I maintain my sinful life without your association? He says, Mui adhama tumara napabe darshan kemate dhariba ye papishta jivan. My dear Lord, you are going to Jagannath Puri, but what will be my destination? I am the lowest among men. I am adhama. Tomar na pabe darshan. If I don't take your darshan, how will I maintain this life? Papishta jivan. So Haridas Thakur, although he was born in a Yavana family, he was accepted as an initiated Brahmana, and in fact more than initiated Brahmana, right? So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, but still he doesn't want to get into Jagannath Puri temple. So he did not want to violate the existing rules. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu assured Haridas Thakur, please stop your humility. So Ar tumi dainya samvaran tomara dainyate mora vyakula hayaman. Seeing your humility, my mind is getting agitated. So, my dear Haridas Thakur, I will petition Lord Jagannath to accept you. Okay. So, please do not think that you cannot come to Jagannath Puri. I will go and pray to Lord Jagannath to arrange some place for you. So eventually Haridas Thakur goes to Jagannath Puri and he also stays there only forever. Okay, till his death, Haridas Thakur stays in Jagannath Puri only, and he is the one who hosts Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami when they visited Jagannath Puri, right? So now Advaitacharya came to Lord Caitanya. Fine, decision has been made that you have to stay in Jagannath Puri only, but my dear Lord, if you can stay for a few more days at my house, I'll be very happy. Now you will shift to Jagannath Puri. I don't know when will we have your darshan again. So please stay for a few more days. Then Lord Caitanya finally said, okay, fine, I'll stay for some more time. Okay. So again, during the day, devotees discussed Krishna Katha. At the time of sunset, after sunset, they began Sankirtan. Okay. Then Kaviraj Goswami describes the faith and the glory of Advaitacharya. Acharyara Shraddha Bhakti Ghara Sampada Dhani Sakala Safala Haila Prabhura Aradhani. So Acharyara Shuddha Bhakti Ghara Sampada Dhani. So the Shuddha Bhakti, the pure devotion of Acharya, Advaitacharya, and his Sampada, his wealth, Dhana, his riches, all these have become Safala. Safala means fruitful. Sakala Safala Haila Prabhura Aradhani. By doing Aradhan of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and serving his devotees, Advaitacharya's everything has become successful. So the success of our life, the success of our sampada, wealth and talents and everything that we have is in serving Krishna, worshipping Krishna and serving his devotees. Right? Sachimata constantly saw her son's face and fed him, and her happiness increased, and considering that Mahaprabhu is going to go to Jagannath Puri, so again she felt so bad. Okay, so Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu decided that I must shift to Puri. I already stayed for extra time in Advaitacharya's house, so let me start to Jagannath Puri. And Advaitacharya sent 4 people, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda, along with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, right, to accompany him in his yatra to Jagannath Puri. Yatra means he's shifting, he's relocating. Okay, so now this is a very interesting scene of separation between Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees. Okay, at Navadvip. So Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda accompanied the Lord. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, before going to Jagannath Puri, he told, return to your homes and perform Sankirtan. We will meet again, right? Sometimes you can come to Puri, sometimes I will come to Bengal and bathe in Ganges. So please go back home. But all the devotees are feeling so morose and they are so much immersed in feelings of separation from Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just decided to depart. He circumambulated Sachi Mata and started for Jagannath Puri. And all the devotees in Advaita Acharya's house were crying so much. And Lord Chaitanya was unaffected by all this. The word that Kaviraj Goswami uses in this context was nirapeksha. He was indifferent. He was unaffected. He left so swiftly. Advaita Acharya followed him. He was crying. And Mahaprabhu turned back and said, my dear Advaita, you are supposed to be pacifying all the devotees. Supposed to be reassuring and encouraging my mother. If you become so agitated, if you become so overwhelmed, if you cry, who will console them? So please go and console them. Nobody will be able to exist if you cry like this. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita and stopped Advaita Acharya to follow him any further. And without any anxiety, without even turning back, he proceeded to Jagannath with Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. So now eventually they went to Jagannath Puri. So all that journey we will discuss in the next session. But here the point is, Mahaprabhu was exhibiting nirapeksha. Means, Prabhupada says, nirapeksha means not being affected by anything material and remaining fixed in the Lord's service. So Mahaprabhu is playing the role of a Acharya, the teacher of Krishna consciousness. So if actually he doesn't have to care for the criticism of common people, worldly moralists. But because he is playing the role of a sannyasi, he wanted to stay away from family ties and family affection. So now very important point here. As a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to exhibit the ideal behavior of a sannyasi who is not caught up in material emotions. But are these material emotions? The emotional exchanges between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees at Shantipur, like Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Sachi Mata, Sundar Shekhar, Haridas Thakur. Now they are such exalted devotees. How can Mahaprabhu exchange any material emotions with them? They are purely spiritual emotions. And in fact, many of them are the eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya. Not even practicing sadhakas, they are eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya. But still, Mahaprabhu just wanted to exemplify the nature of a behavior of a sannyasi, and that's why he behaved like this. So by this, he gave a very grave instruction that that a renunciant is supposed to be aloof from material emotions. Yes, one has to be very sensitive to family members, especially mother. So Mahaprabhu definitely set the very great example for all renunciants, how they have to deal with their mothers. Right? He was very sensitive to mother. He was offering prostrated obeisances and touching the feet of mother, and he is also expressing his profuse amount of gratitude towards Mother Sachi. So all the renunciants also should never neglect their mothers, and they should not be indifferent towards their mothers. So we should learn all these lessons from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now another thing is, now Mahaprabhu is exhibiting another mood here. Not another, same only, but another flavor comes. He is completely being indifferent to all the tumultuous cries that came out in Advaita Acharya's house. Right? He was exhibiting nirapeksha and swachhanda. Swachhanda means completely independent. So in this context, let us remember the prayer of Kunti Maharani. What did she say to Krishna? She offered prayer to Krishna. My dear Krishna, please stay back in Hastinapur only. Please give your association to my sons Pandavas. If you are not here, they cannot survive. So Kunti Maharani was praying for Pandavas. Then she realized, why am I praying for Pandavas? If Krishna stays in Hastinapur, what will happen to my parents' family? Vrishnis. So Krishna should also give his association to Vrishnis also. Then she immediately thought, I am thinking too much about Pandavas and Vrishnis, my parents' family and my husband's family. I am thinking too much about them. So then she immediately says, Atha Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishwamurte Swakeshu me Sneha Pashamimam Chindi Dridham Pandusha Vrishnishu. My dear Lord, I am getting caught up in this material emotions of thinking about my parents' family and husband's family. Please, Sneha Pashamimam Chindi, please cut these strong knots of family affection that I have with Pandavas and Vrishnis. Sneha Pashamimam Chindi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu, both. Cut all the family ties. Now she is not a sannyasi. She is a woman and she is a mother and she definitely has a lot of emotions for her children. But she says, cut my affection for Pandavas. Right? Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu. Sneha Pashamimam Chindi Dridham Pandushu Vrishnishu. Such a very clear statement. Please cut my family ties with Pandavas and Vrishnis. Okay. Now, here, Kunti Maharani is giving a very grave instruction to us. There are two kinds of relationships. One is skin relation, second is soul relation. So Kunti Maharani, when she said that please cut my affectionate ties to Pandavas and Vrishnis, she did not mean to cut the soul relation. She meant to cut only the skin relation. So Kunti Maharani definitely wants the association and company and relationship of the Pandavas and Vrishnis from the perspective of their being devotees of Krishna. I want their spiritual association. But in our relationship, there is a material aspect. There is a blood relation. There is bodily relation. There is skin relation. There is material aspect of our relationship. Cut that portion. Right? Remove that. So Kunti Maharani wants to preserve her association and relationship with Pandavas and Vrishnis on a spiritual plane, not on a material plane. So a sannyasi, a renunciant, not only renunciant sannyasi, a devotee of Krishna is supposed to be focusing on spiritual relationships and spiritualizing relationships and not be caught up in material emotions. That's the message that we can get from Mahaprabhu's behavior. So spiritually, we should have a relationship with not only family members, but with every single living entity. Every single living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna, is potentially a devotee of Krishna. So it's worth having a relationship with all the devotees, all the living entities, right, in that sense. So in Madhyama platform, there are four kinds of dealings. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Prema, love for the Lord. Maitri, friendship with other devotees. Kripa, mercy on innocent people. Upeksha means staying away from materialistic and atheistic and envious people. So even a Madhyamadhikari also tries to connect with other people on a soul platform, and if he considers himself not very advanced to deal with envious people, he may stay away from them, but he doesn't hate them, right? So, but theoretically, at least he understands that they are all part and parcels of Krishna, they are spirit souls. Okay, so in spiritual life, one has to take the responsibility of adopting spiritual consciousness and try to develop spiritual vision. So people around us are not human beings, are not Brahmanas or Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Sudras, are not Indians or Americans or men or women. They are all parts and parcels of Krishna. They are fragmental parts of Krishna. They are amshas of Krishna. They are potentially devotees of Krishna. That's the vision of a devotee. A devotee sees other people as servants of Krishna. Now you see, recently we celebrated Narasimha Chaturdasi. We were discussing about the character and activities and prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj never liked the teachings of Shanda and Amarka. Why? Shanda and Amarka were teaching him the philosophy of discriminating people as friends and enemies. These are our friends. Who are friends? Demons. These are our enemies. Who are enemies? Devotees of Vishnu are enemies. So that's what they want to teach Prahlad. But Prahlad said, I don't see anybody as friend and enemy on a material plane. I only see everybody as a servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Das. That's the identity of every living entity. And a devotee, whether it's sannyasi or whoever, a devotee is supposed to see from that plane. That's what scriptures are teaching us. That's what Mahaprabhu's behavior here is also teaching us. So, Prahalad Maharaj said that this philosophy of discriminating people as friends and enemies doesn't fit into my mind. Okay, he rejected the teachings of Shanda and Amarka very respectfully. Okay, so now that's about rejecting the material aspect of relationships. And Kunti Maharani in her next period she says that Tvayimenanya Vishaya Matir Madhupate Sakrit Ratim Udvahada Dadha Gange Vaugham Udanvati. So let me cut the material aspect of my relationships with Pandavas and Vrishnis and let me completely dedicate myself to you. Let my mind constantly flow towards you, just like Ganges river flows towards the ocean. So this is Kunti's prayer. So we discussed a little bit about Prahalad, a little bit about Kunti. Come back to Mahaprabhu's case. And I'm going a little over time, but I'll take 2-3 more minutes and conclude this discussion. So Mahaprabhu is setting an ideal example for devotees that they should not be caught up in material emotions. But are these material emotions? Are the emotions that Sachi Mata, then Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, they were having for Mahaprabhu? They are not material emotions at all. They are all devotees. They are eternal associates of the Lord. Now, Mahaprabhu's staying away from their association is not because his family are non-devotees. Okay, so these are non-devotee family members. I will stay away from them. That's not his mood. They're all devotees. They're exalted devotees. Okay, but still Mahaprabhu stayed away for one very important reason. That is preaching. He wants to distribute Krishna consciousness and Krishna prema to all people. That is the reason for which Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas and he wanted to deliver people. So, Mahaprabhu is even cheating his devotees also so that he can distribute Krishna prema to all of us. Actually, it's very comfortable for Krishna or Mahaprabhu to stay amongst all the devotees forever. Okay, so we remember we discussed in the previous session when Srivas Thakur's son died, Mahaprabhu was so overwhelmed because Srivas Thakur even kept the news of his son's death secret so that Mahaprabhu can enjoy his Sankirtan. And Mahaprabhu, knowing this, he felt so devastated. He felt that, my God, how can I give up the loving company of these devotees? So he does not want to give up the loving company of all these devotees. So although the pain felt by all the devotees of Shantipur was described elaborately, Mahaprabhu also was secretly feeling the pain of separation from all the Navadvip devotees. Although the pain of the gopis of Vrindavan is described elaborately by Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami is biased towards gopis. He's partial, right? Of course, many of the devotees are also partial towards gopis. They are not so much in favor of Krishna. Because Krishna left gopis and he went to Mathura. How is it acceptable for devotees? How is it acceptable for Sukadeva Goswami? So, Sukadeva Goswami elaborately described the feelings of separation felt by the gopis. He sang Viraha Gita. But there is another fact which is kept low profile by Sukadeva Goswami. Okay, so just have some compassion on Krishna and discuss this. What is that? Acharyas highlight. Krishna secretly wept because of separation from gopis of Vrindavan. When he left Vrindavan, it was also painful to Krishna. When Krishna was touring Mathura city, apparently he's so happy. He's having loving exchanges with the Kubja and he was doing so many things. But he was not happy. When he's touring Mathura city, he was seeing all the faces of the Mathuravasis and searching for the faces of gopis there. Oh, does she look like Gopi? Does she look like this Gopi? Does she look like that Gopi? He was constantly searching All the women are there in the balconies and Krishna was seeing them. So it is very difficult even for Krishna also to bear the feelings of separation from his loving associates. But why does he do so? Because Krishna had to do paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. That's why he told the Vrajavasis, please stay there, let me go and kill Kamsa, let me deliver some people, let me kill Jarasandha, I have so many other duties in Dwaraka, then I will come and give you association. Of course, in one sense, Krishna will never leave Vrindavan. Similarly, Mahaprabhu's life also we see. Mahaprabhu would definitely love to stay in the loving company of all these great devotees Navadvip or Jagannath Puri. He wants to stay there. But he wants to preach. He wants to give Krishna Prema and Krishna Nama to all the people in this world. That's why he tolerated the feelings of separation from his own loving associates and he exhibited nirapeksha, indifference, swachhanda, independence. And he left without even looking back, although they were fainting in pain. Same thing Mahaprabhu did in the 7th chapter also. In the 7th chapter of Madhyalila, when we come there, we will discuss maybe in the next episode. Mahaprabhu cheated all his associates. Mahaprabhu said that I was discussing in Caitanya Pravaha to children in recent Wednesday only. We were discussing about Chaitanya, this 7th chapter of Madhyalila to the kids. So Mahaprabhu told all the devotees at Jagannath Puri that I am going to search for Vishwarup. Okay. He took sannyas and after that we don't know where he is. I heard that he is in South India. I will go alone to South India Yatra and I will search for Vishwarup. Okay. So you should not come with me. So why Mahaprabhu is saying like this? Who is he is rejecting whom? Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. You should not be my partners in my South India Yatra. I will go alone. Okay. So Kaviraj Goswami says that Mahaprabhu treated all his devotees at Jagannath Puri, saying that I will go to search Vishwarup. Although Vishwarup already went back to Godhead by that time, because he wanted to deliver the people of South India. Mahaprabhu is interrupting his intimate association with his eternal associates to take out some time for us and give us Krishna Prema and Krishna Nama. Can you imagine the extent of Mahaprabhu's compassion? So what is more pleasurable to the Lord, to be in the company of his loving devotees or to go in the company of people who reject him, who are not willing to love him or serve him? But still Mahaprabhu, out of his compassion, all the people are saying that we don't want to love him. Mahaprabhu is inspiring that love in them. So now we need to see the compassion, deep compassion of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He accepted sannyas for the purpose of delivering people. He is going away from the loving company of Shantipur Vasis to give love of God to all people. And he even cheated Jagannath Puri devotees to go and give Krishna Prema to South India devotees. So this is the compassionate spirit of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and we need to reciprocate with that compassion and accept what he gives us. I hope that makes sense. So thank you very much. Sri Caitanya-caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.